Nikola Jokic does something no one's ever done again. The Nuggets get a massive, huge, awesome win at home over the Mavericks. Michael Porter Jr. hits a game winner. Peyton Watson hits 4 threes. Jokic was nice in the media. It's crazy. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. It's Locked On Nuggets. No Jinx.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being with us Monday through Friday, hanging out with us. We do appreciate you guys supporting us and our community. Make sure to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets. Go over there, find the little subscribe button, hit the little subscribe button, and hit the little likey like, and give us some like skis on the videos, because it's a good time to be a Nuggets fan, and you should join a community of thousands who appreciate and follow us over here at Locked On Nuggets, and we appreciate each and every one of you. If you're listening on the podcast, give us a 5-star review. Do want to let you know about our daily Locked On Nuggets newsletter. I did the 10 piece, which is 10 things you need to know. It's got quotes from Peyton Watson and Michael Malone and Nikola Jokic about all sorts of stuff in there. I published, or I pulled that newsletter together. It'll be in your inboxes tomorrow. You can sign up at LockedOnDaily.com. This is no jinx for a Monday. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm joined by Ryan Blackburn. He's from Mile High Sports and the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. You can catch me on Locked On NBA Monday through Friday in the afternoons, where, yes, we will be talking about Chet Holmgren's unfortunate injury tomorrow. But on this show, we will have a lot to talk about, including, we had takes about the 10 games, and they played out in various ways that we will talk about. We'll talk about going 5-0 on the homestand. We'll talk about Jamal Murray's weird night. We'll talk about that and more. But we have to look. Porter got the game winner, and we will give Michael props, because Mike deserves props for that game winner. Nikola Jokic, 37 points.
Good.
18 rebounds.
Pretty good.
15 assists.
Pretty good.
Also 3 steals.
Pretty good.
Hit a massive 3 late, too. He hit the 3s falling. So I was on Nuggets Reddit today, and I was both responding to a post that basically was saying I suck. And then also I was independently posing a question, because I have some things in the works as far as more Nuggets coverage is concerned. And I want to know kind of hey, what do you want to see more of? What's something that you don't think you're getting enough of from the great local coverage that we have? And so as part of that conversation, somebody was mentioning that they wish that I had a little bit more, I guess, joie de vivre about Nikola Jokic's MVP seasons. And I just want to tell you this right now, that getting to watch Nikola Jokic on a nightly basis is an honor and not one I take lightly.
Yeah.
What Jokic did tonight was absolutely incredible. Just start to finish, dominating the game in so many ways, battling through, keeping the team in it, pushing the ball, outrunning Gafford in transition, getting his own misses and putting them back, finding open shooters, incredible passes, just the whole thing. Ryan, he's insane. This is one of the best players I've ever seen play basketball.
He's insane. He might even be a top 5 MVP candidate this year, Matt. Might even make the list. Michael Malone joked about that post game. I'm sure Michael Malone's never online, though. I just want to make that clear. He's never been online before. But no, it's funny, man. We've become so numb to this because it's consistent, because it is ever present, because it never waxes or wanes. Nikola Jokic is perhaps the greatest player I've ever watched in my life. I was born in 1996, so I didn't get to see a whole bunch of Michael Jordan, man. I watched LeBron. I watched it from a hater's perspective for a lot of that time, watching him go to the Miami Heat and be great there. But I've also seen different things from Nikola Jokic, and it's those 3, man. It's those 3 right now at the peak of their powers. Can you really even justify talking about anybody else at this point? Because what Jokic continues to do is absolutely beside himself. And he's not tired. He's not tired at all. That's just who he is. He said post-game, yeah, I'm good. I feel good. And that is a special, special talent And I don't know if I fully believe him with that, but what I do believe is that he has been the best player in the world. And there's a lot of takes on social media right now that the distance between him and second place is very wide.
Yeah, Malone called him best in the world after the game, and that's like he said that's the best way to kind of put it. And I think that's like an accurate description of all this. Jokic was number one across most of the lists that we saw in the preseason from the top 100. The kind of contributions that he's given this team every single night and what he's giving them. And Malone joked about, somebody asked him like, when he asked, playing Jokic 38 minutes, and he was like, "No, I don't feel bad about it. Look at his paycheck, man." But then he actually did talk about, it was really funny because Malone said, I don't know that playing Nikola 35 to 40 minutes a night is sustainable. And I was like, if only we could find the guy who did this. Just we could find that person somewhere that's playing him 35 to 40 minutes. Now, a lot of that is like Jokic wants to play that much. He'll
does
play every minute he's asked to.
He doesn't want to come out, man. Like end of third quarter, sometimes they'll sub him for defense, and he gets frustrated. Like he gets frustrated with that, where you want him and he wants to be on the floor, impacting the game and impacting as many plays as he possibly can. But the Nuggets have to be smart about it, and Michael Malone knows that. And I think that this next few weeks are going to be very important in terms of figuring out how to get those numbers down a little bit. But for the moment, he's only played 10 games. And through those 10 games, he's put up numbers that nobody in the history of basketball has ever done before. And you could say that about any combination of numbers that he continues to put up, whether it's the points, whether it's the rebounds, whether it's the assists, whether it's the steals, whether it's the efficiency, whether it's the clutch play, whatever you want to put, he is leading the pack in the entire NBA.
Jokic now fourth in scoring at 29.7, almost 30 a game, rounds up to 30 a game, leads the league in rebounds, leads the league in assists.
Pretty good.
Leads the league in a lot of categories. By the way, just for S's and G's, he was 3 for 3 from 3-point range tonight and 8 of 8 from the line as well. And they needed all that because the Mavericks played an exceptional game.
Yeah.
And Kyrie Irving was sensational. I thought their defense was actually really good. This game was like a really good defensive battle wrapped in what felt like a high octane shootout because the offenses were executing at such a high level. This was a good matchup, and there's a lot of stuff I think for both teams to take away for a potential playoff matchup down the line. Michael Porter Jr. got the game-winning bucket. We'll talk about Mike's emergence both on the ball and off the ball and his ability to make this kind of moment count, as well as we'll get into Jamal Murray, and we'll talk about our other thoughts from the Nuggets win over the Mavericks when we return here on Locked On Nuggets.
Ooh, that's me. Hi, everybody. That's my fault.
Catch up, man. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. If you want to make a bet on a team that is down at the end of a game and the opponent is on the 30-yard line and they're lining up for a game-winning field goal, and you can get 150 to 1 on the team who doesn't have the ball, who's up to win, you can do that. You can actually bet on the other team. Somebody did that today on FanDuel. They bet on a team whose opponent was on the 30 with a chance to win the game, and an easy chip shot field goal, and they bet on the other team and they won. Crazy things happen in the NFL. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us, making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us on a Monday for No Jinx. Hope you guys are having a great day getting started. Hope your Sunday was filled with awesome sports moments like like the Nuggets' incredible win over the Mavericks with a 2-point win. Great job by the Nuggets. It was actually a phenomenal game by them.
Yeah.
Porter hits the game winner, and in a continuing battle I've been having with Mike since he was drafted, where I try and get Mike to admit that his handle's not great, and Michael Porter continues to look at me like I'm an idiot. I asked him after the game about it because, like, look, Porter just hasn't been a big driver. He hasn't been. Like, that's been a weak point. He does a lot of, like, on the DHOs, he'll actually back up into the step back jumper. He's mostly a catch and shoot guy. He had some tough, by the way, catch and shoot buckets tonight.
Yep.
This is his second. This is a cool stat I found. This is Porter at 17. This is his second longest streak of 15 or more points since 2021, when that was like during the stretch that they were without Jamal, and he became like the number 2 scoring weapon.
Yeah.
So this is like a really sustained, great stretch of basketball we're seeing from Porter. And that floater at the end of the game, Murray gives it to him. And I asked Porter about it after the game. And Porter said, I was worried that if I gave it back to him, we were going to run out of time and it was going to result in a bad shot. So I saw I had the lane. I thought I could get the edge on Kyrie, got to the middle and got to what he was like. It was an easy floater. And I was like, that is not an easy shot. Like, time's running down. The defense is collapsing. And he makes a huge bucket here. Really cool moment for Michael Porter Jr., Ryan.
Made it look easy. And that's a good thing about the growing aspects of his game. It's some of the things that we were talking about initially heading into this season. And he looks a little bigger. And he looks a little faster. He looks a little stronger. Like he looks a little bit more comfortable just doing some things in the in-between zone and driving to the rim and drawing some contact and getting to the free throw line, things like that. It didn't fully manifest initially on this year, but that's a play that, I mean, he might have made it last year. He might have made in previous years, but I feel pretty good about it now, having seen it. The other thing, he did not take a shot for the entire fourth quarter.
You were like really into this. This was something that you asked like a million times of like everybody. You asked Moch, Porter, and Jokic about this. This is like a big deal to you. I want to talk about this.
I think this is a big storyline that when Michael Porter Jr. gets hot at the beginning of a game, when he immediately, because he had 13 points on 5 shots, like he was great, and the team goes away from it. He has 15 points at halftime, and he has 15 points at the end of the third quarter, and then he plays the entire fourth quarter, and they don't get him involved. And the first shot that he takes is with 7 seconds left on the clock. And it's the only reason was because it was kind of a fire drill play because Jamal didn't get the angle and he had to dish it off to somebody. I think it's important for Denver to keep him involved. And Michael Malone said as much earlier too, that he needs to be like on that and making sure that Mike is staying involved in games like this when he gets as hot as he does initially. It's not like, this isn't a situation where you have to make sure that a guy is able to go get 35. But he is so talented, man. He is such an important shot maker for this team. He's such an important release valve for these guys that if they are not using it effectively and not helping to develop that, then you might see it disappear in the playoffs too.
Ty Teachify says, MPJ gets hot in the beginning of the game, and then for some reason they go away from him. Happened so much the last few years. Very strange. If you ask Mike about this, he will tell you, here's what happens. The game plan starting off the game is they're so focused on shutting down the 2-man game and Jokic post-ups. That's what they're focused on. And what winds up happening is Porter fills in those gaps and shows them, like, if you give me an inch of space, I am going to shoot over you and I'm going to hit threes. And then immediately what you see happen is the opponent shifts and changes how they cover him. This is my thing with the Wolves series. Mike didn't play bad in the Wolves series. The Wolves just covered him. Like, if you're a spot up weapon and they guard you and they don't leave you, Ryan, like, there's no shots for him to take. Now,
but that's the point. That's the point about this play in particular, is that he might be more than a spot up weapon. He might be more than that.
Yeah, and he is. And I think he's getting some of those opportunities. That's why, like, him with that second unit, even though they're doing that a little less, which I think is good because it got lit on fire a few times. Like, that was kind of the idea, was like Porter, they tried it. It was like they were trying to get Porter more involved in some of those sequences. And honestly, like, it didn't work great. Now, maybe Porter gets like more confident. Like, I've said this for years that they should run some sets where they just get him a nail post up and let him run in triple threat. Just like if they sag off of him, rise up and fire. If they play up on him, let him drive 1-on-1 with spacers and 5 out. If they send a double, he can pass. Right? Like, I think they should do that. But I will also say that like the whole idea of, well, he starts off early and then he doesn't get another shot. You can't like, that's not how this works. Like you can't just you can't just like force this with a player like that.
So they run a lot of plays for Julian Strawther to get open. They run a lot of plays for Aaron Gordon when he's available to go get a backdoor cut, or maybe they run an ISO for AG, trying to get him a bucket at various points. ATO. Yeah, they do. There are plays that AG
Gordon gets a lot in transition.
No, there's a specific play that I'm envisioning in my head. It's a baseline out of bounds play where they just inbound the ball to Aaron Gordon at the right elbow, and he runs in isolation pretty much every single time. And it's not always going to happen, and most of the time they're not going to run that. But I think that there are opportunities within the game to get him more than, I mean, how many shots did he even take tonight? Like, I don't even know what it was. He took 11 shots. Like, Matt, we don't need to beat around the bush with it. 11 shots is too few. It is. And I think that there are plenty of opportunities for him throughout the game, especially if he's going to play.
Who should have shot less?
I think that Murray probably should have shot less. I think that Russ should have shot less.
But how many minutes did Russ and MPJ share the floor?
All of the stagger minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just think that this is a very forced conversation of he needs more shots. Okay. In what? And like in the like, and I don't know where you're gonna, like Strawther. Yeah, because Strawther's not on the scouting report.
Yeah.
MPJ is.
I think that they are still kind of going through this metamorphosis as a team where they are trying to figure out, okay, best way to play around Jokic consistently is just to ping it around to all four players at kind of an even level. But there are times where Murray's going to need more. There are times where Porter's going to need more. And they deserve more. They're paid to do that. So I think that there's something that Denver can figure out there. I really do. I don't. This isn't just me trying to manufacture something. I think that he's a 50,
when Reddit says that we're this doomer show, it's you complaining about a night where he hits the game winner, has his longest streak of scoring since 2021 of 15 plus, and is the third highest scorer on the team only because your guy took 17 shots.
I said that he should take fewer. I said that. I can't believe we got here. Let's talk about Murray instead, because like Mike was good. Like he was very good throughout. He got them off to a great start.
I want to shout out real quickly that Mike's play on Daniel Gafford late was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He battled Daniel Gafford down low. That was a situation where Mike could have been like passive and been like kind of blown away by the physicality. That's a tough spot. Gafford's a tough dude, and Mike battled him and forced those misses. That was a really good job by him.
No, 100%. And like he is trying, and he had 4 assists as well. Like he's trying to do the things that Michael Malone and others are asking him to do, and he's done it reasonably effectively to the point where you reward a guy like that with some extra shot attempts when you can. That's it.
Okay. I think it's fine. I think everything's fine, and he's getting enough shots in the floor of the offense. Jamal Murray, weird night. So he starts off and he hits a 3 and then a pull-up J, and I'm like, here we go. Gonna be a Jamal night. Whoosh. And he vanishes, and he's gone. And then he makes some pretty big plays in the fourth quarter, including drawing a foul on Luka that Mavs fans didn't feel like it was. There was a side court shot that showed to me, like, even though Murray tried to duck his arm in instead of exaggerating the contact, it was a foul. And then he misses 2 free throws.
Yeah.
But like he was, he made a bucket and was like barking at the bench and all these types of things. And that's what you want. You want Murray playing with bravado. 6 dimes is good to 2 assists. Like that's pretty good. He was a plus 15. He didn't he had 17 shots, but I didn't feel like he got in the way a lot.
The over the head pass to Joker for the 3 was a really big one where he drew Gafford into the paint, and then Joker was just wide the F open.
And he got so downhill on Luka playing matchup zone.
Yeah.
That it forced them to help down and left Joker wide open.
Absolutely. And so I want to see him continue to do that. I think there were like the sides, like it was really the end of the second quarter for me where I was like, what is going on with him? He's trying to force some things that not necessarily like the best decisions at all, The sidestep three that he tried to shoot over Daniel Gafford right at the end of the half. Like it's just these plays that are the detail plays that I think if he makes them, it's a good Jamal night. If he doesn't make them, it's a pretty normal to subpar Jamal night. And that's the difference. That's the difference a lot of the time with him. His defense also continues to be a problem. I do think that tonight it wasn't as big of a deal because of the way that Kyrie and Luka sort of operated, and it wasn't as much trying to get Clay open and some of these other guys. But I do think that he's still coming along on that end.
I have like a lot of detailed thoughts on the Nuggets defense and how it's different this season and about this matchup in particular. But I don't want to get into it because like this is a night to really just like celebrate how good the Nuggets are.
Sure.
And especially their balanced scoring where everyone took the right amount of shots and didn't force anything. That's the important thing to really kind of see through here. And so we'll talk about on the other side, they're through the first 10 games. They are through the 5-game homestand. And well, things are after such a start, things are looking up for the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about that up next here on Locked On Nuggets. Today's show is brought to you by GameTime. If you're looking for deals all around town, there's so many great events in Denver you can go catch. You can go see the Avs, who have stabilized and are playing great. You can go see the Nuggets when they're back in town. You can go see that. Avs are going to be home a lot next week. You can go see comedy and theater. Lots of different shows that you can see. It's going to be time for all those great Christmas shows at the Performing Arts Center. You can go check those out. There's so many great things that you can check out, and you can find them in the curated section. Customize your spot and get all sorts of really great stuff in there. And the GameTime app, GameTime Picks, is going to filter out all the fluff and show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Curation makes it easier to save on sports, comedy, and theater. They've got seat views, right? So let's say you want to go see a football game and you don't want your view blocked. Then you can do that. You can make sure that your view is not blocked at the end of the game when it's most important. They've got a lowest price guarantee. GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime Picks. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it?
Game time.
We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. So I need to remember this correctly because somebody was like bringing it up on the old Twitter tweets, and they were saying that we were way off on our first 10 games predictions. I remember saying that they were going to go 7-3.
I remember that too. Okay,
what did you think they were going to go?
I chief among my predictions was that they would go 5-5. I thought that they would. I did not think that they would get through the OKC game the way that they did. And I honestly thought that they would lose either one of the Dallas or Miami games. And as it turns out, they got through them all. They figured it out, and they should be celebrated for going 5-0 on this homestand. This is a big homestand.
Yeah, it was huge. Gotten past like all the negative vibes after the first two games are gone. And despite Aaron being out, they've done these. One of the things that I think is huge is, they lost those first two. I expected them to win the Clippers game, but I also thought that they would lose one of the games that they should win. And instead, they won all of them. They won both the Brooklyn and Toronto games on the road, and then won the Raptors and Jazz games at home. Their ability to not lose to inferior teams is exceptional for providing a buffer between them and other teams. Like, you look around the NBA, and there's just teams that get caught. They just do. Like, Memphis lost twice to Brooklyn. Yeah, those are killer losses for Memphis. Like,
Milwaukee loses twice to everyone.
Yeah, Milwaukee's pretty much done. Like, it's bad. So the insulation that those wins have provided, I think, is huge. It's just like the Nuggets have 3 losses. They have lost to the Clippers, who are tough, the Thunder, who were the best team in the league before Chet Holmgren got hurt, and they lost to the Wolves on the road in a close game late. Like their win profile is excellent. And to be honest, it's a little bit perplexing because I do want to ask you, I don't want to get caught with the doomerism thing, but I do want to ask you this. Does it feel like they're a 7-3 team?
It's tough to say. Honestly, I think the way that they have approached this homestand feels like a 7-3 team. The way that they approached the previous 5 games does not. And I honestly feel like the progression that they are making is really important because the team that they have with Aaron Gordon is like that's a 7-3, 8-2 quality team on most nights. But what they've done in his place, Peyton Watson played 40 minutes tonight. His development has been rapid. It has been important. He shot 4 of 4 from 3. He got back on track. He was not on track at the beginning of the season, and he has figured some things out on the fly. Julian Strawther, you could say a lot of the same things. It's not quite the degree because he is less important, I would say, to the overall picture of what the Nuggets are trying to do right now. But Christian Braun, he had a ho-hum game tonight where he only had 14 points. The defense, he's getting a defensive lesson by Kyrie Irving tonight and Luka Doncic. And yet they're figuring it out anyway. And so, yes, does Joker paper over a bunch of things? Absolutely. But he's always done that. And they've been a 7-3 team caliber before.
Yeah, I think it's, the overtime wins, I think, are notable here for kind of how the context of all this. But like the Thunder win is as good a one as you're going to find. That was a really great win. The Miami win was dominant. Yeah. And the Mavericks win, while close, was thrilling and a really good game without a starter. And it was just a really good, matchup overall. And you survived 43 from Kyrie and you held down Luka for the most part to 24 points. 9 assists, because that's like a bad night for Luka.
Yeah.
Bench is still bad. That's not going away anytime soon. They're still gonna be bad. Bench is still like we're gonna be talking about the bench. We will be talking about the bench until we're all dead. That's just I've accepted this. That the last thing I will do before I die is talk about the Nuggets bench and about how to survive the non-Jokic minutes. And that's not a chore. I'm very excited to talk about it because it's awesome to talk about basketball with you folks. But I do think that, Dallas, I do think we can kind of talk about this. One of the things that's different about this team is I think that when people talk about he's a great defender, this is what they think of. They think of guarding Anthony Edwards in isolation. And in that capacity, KCP is not as good as Christian because Christian is a phenomenal ISO defender because he's so big while being so quick and being so disciplined and being very, very good. He can test shots without fouling. He does all these types of things. Kyrie got him sticking his hand in the cookie jar tonight, but in general, he's very low foul player. Guarding pick and roll is a little bit different. You have to be able to get over screens and slide with them and navigate space and close space quickly once you get around the screen in order to contest those shots from behind. Those are things that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is elite at. And particularly you saw that versus Steph Curry on off-ball sequences when they faced the Warriors. Yeah. And you would see it in various on-ball sequences too. KCP would have helped a lot tonight with Kyrie.
Yeah.
That's an area where Christian really struggles. And if you go back and you watch, you'll see that Christian just gets peeled a little bit more because he's bigger. It's not even like Christian's fault. It's just like Christian can't get over screens as fast because he's a bigger dude. And so you're trading off. Anthony Edwards is not going to kill you in isolation. And you'll be able to put Christian on guys like Devin Booker and other guys, especially like wings that are bigger, like those 2 3s that are big. You'll be able to put Christian on them and he'll hold up. But guys that operate a lot in pick and roll, I do think the Nuggets defense is going to be a little bit tougher to manage. And I think you saw some of that tonight.
Yeah, there's some of it for sure. Kyrie is a technician. That was very evident in what we saw. Peyton is also still trying to figure out some things, and there were some things early against Luka where the Nuggets were trying to blitz, and then they were leaving the low man open, and there was nothing that anybody could really do as the low man defender, Murray included. Porter had a good moment late, but nothing really early. Christian will learn in that capacity as well when he's off ball. But I do think that the Nuggets in general, Like there are just some things that they are not as good at defensively as they were in previous years. Now, what I will say, some of the hustle plays and some of the highlight plays where you can turn defense into offense, where you can get a highlight block, where you can do the things like Julian Strawther has had a couple of those actually. And Michael Malone made sure to mention that tonight. He had some plays where he blocked and somebody trying to turn around. And he also has been helping at the rim really well. So I think this team's a pretty good helping team when they're at the rim. But overall, there are still some things that they have to work on. But early, long season.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they're a very good help team, and that's why you have so many points in the paint that they're allowing. They got better as this game went on for a variety of reasons. I wrote about this in the newsletter, LockedOnDaily.com. Check out the Locked On Nuggets newsletter, about how my thing I love about Julian is that he's late but fast. So he'll be late on rotations, but he makes up for it by absolutely sprinting. Once Julian realizes what he needs to do, he does it 100 miles an hour. And that's why he makes so many defensive plays. Is he genuinely just like appears in space? Yeah. Where it'll be like, there'll be a pass that's going on in the interior and it's like deflected by Julian Strawther. And I'm like, the hell did he come from?
He also had a block on Clay doing the exact same thing. I thought that he was late on the contest, but he sprinted out to it and got one where I don't think anybody really expected him to be able to contest that shot. So just really, really impressive stuff from him.
Watson had more points and was 4 of 4 from 3, so this is easy. I genuinely felt like Peyton Watson had a better night than Christian tonight. I thought Peyton Watson was terrific. I thought he was awesome tonight.
And it bears out of the minutes, man. Like 40 minutes tonight, that's a very, very important number for his development. And I asked him that after the game, and he just knows how important this moment is for him. And I think everybody around him knows how important this moment is for him, where he can take some of this stuff that the Nuggets are figuring out, some of these rotations that they're figuring out, the way that he needs to play to be excellent next to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., and take it with him. There's going to be a lot that they can do. And also, like, I know we're having a lot of backup center discussion. When Aaron Gordon comes back, I want Denver to really focus on playing him at backup center. I want them to cut down his
insane. You guys are going to kill him. Why do you want to kill Aaron Gordon?
I want them to cut down on the total number of minutes, but I think you can do that because if Peyton is going to come in here and he's going to play pretty well next to Murray, next to Porter, next to Jokic, there are minutes that can be had where Gordon is a stagger guy. And then maybe he doesn't close in a couple of the games. Maybe he isn't always out there.
That's not going to save him. Like, that's not the problem. It's not that it's tiring, Ryan. It's that literally banging with guys that are 4 inches taller than you and have 25 pounds on you takes it out of you and results in things like his shoulder injury last year.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want them to go doing it against Andre Drummond, but are there backup centers in the league that are not going to be banging, that are going to be spot up fives, that are going to be picking and popping a little bit?
If you're trying to get to an established rotation that you can rely on, that's a problem. Is you run into the problem of you do wind up playing him against these guys that are going to.
I don't want to do that though. I don't think that Denver should be doing that. I think that they absolutely need to be flexible with this. I don't think that they should be trying to get to it every single night, but I do think that there are going to be more nights, more often than not, where he's going to have to do that in the playoffs. And one of the things that we noticed last year is that the Nuggets weren't that great in the playoffs when Aaron Gordon was at the backup center spot.
They were playing Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going to have to do that. They're going to be there next year, or Rudy Gobert especially, Naz Reid especially. Anthony Davis will be there again.
Yeah, okay, I am just putting this out there that this nonsense that I'm hearing from you and Adam and others, this is going to get AG hurt.
He's already hurt. They can do this. Look, I don't think that it has to be like this hard of minutes. If anything, like cut his minutes down to 25 to 20.
It doesn't change the problem. 20 minutes versus the centers is way worse on his body. It's not about Aaron Gordon is the most athletic guy on the team. Aaron can go 38. It's not about the minutes, right?
So, Matt, what is your solution then? What is your solution for the backup center minutes? Tell me.
Jamal Murray plays better.
At backup center?
Make it to where it does not big of a hole.
Are you trying to get his knees to dissolve? Do you not care about Jamal Murray's knees?
Jamal's money is big. Big money.
Aaron just got paid.
I like this.
Good
I
Lord.
like this. I like this. The chat is so the chat's very divided. It's like Ryan owned Matt. I'm with Matt. Like it's very. Let us know in the comments what you think about whether or not you want Aaron Gordon to die. Let me know about that, and then we'll talk about it on the next edition of No Jinx.
I think it's a chief point among all of us Nuggets fans.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure to follow at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets or give us a like and subscribe. 5-star reviews, feedback is a gift. Appreciate you guys being with us. We'll be back. Swab will be with you on Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday night for No Jinx. Very few Nuggets games this week, so we'll have lots of content to kind of talk about these first 10 games and get you caught up going into, guess what? It's Cup season, baby. We'll talk about if the Nuggets can take home the NBA Cup this year. We'll see you guys again next time here on Locked On Nuggets.